Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, March 8th. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Glad to have you with us tonight. Well, more than 100 people rally in Annapolis today. They came out to support numerous bills aimed at eliminating barriers to employment for those with criminal records. They marched through the streets of Annapolis demanding a chance to work. It was all part of Re-Entry Day, an event to highlight the struggle those with criminal records have in obtaining employment.
Knock on the doors of those who are not supporting this legislation. Knock on the doors of those who don't understand how important it is to lift the least of us so that we lift all of us. A second chance is not a lot to ask for.
There are more people that need our help. And guess what? They'll show up again and again. It's not so much what we're doing, it's what you're doing.
We want jobs! We want jobs! We want jobs!
John Huffington and John Jones were both released after spending decades behind bars. They're now working to change the laws that prevent so many others from getting employment.
I'm a returning citizen. I served 32 years, and I've successfully reintegrated. And I think that, we have proven, specifically with the Unger cases, with over 130 of those men and women coming home and zero recidivism, that second chances is worth it, that people, that human beings are redeemable, and that we need to really, as a society, look at that. And for those that have earned a second chance, they deserve it and they should have it.
What is it about these bills today that you feel is so important to bring everybody on?
Well, expungements. You heard it all day and everyone speak. Jobs. You cannot get a job because you have these things on your record, things that shouldn't even be on your record any longer. So these guys can't get sustainable jobs, sustainable income jobs, then they're doomed to fail. So you're setting them up to fail. So I have to be here to support that.
According to the Job Opportunities Task Force, 1 in 3 adults with criminal records are unable to get jobs or housing in Maryland. And 10 measures dealing with expungement of criminal records are being heard this afternoon before the House Judiciary Committee. Well, Governor Hogan is urging lawmakers to enact budget reforms in Maryland. This as one of his bills is heard before the House Appropriations Committee today. Hogan unveiled a new report by the State Department of Budget and Management that shows how nearly $4 billion in mandated spending would impact the state.
Unfortunately, it would appear that some members of the General Assembly are choosing to ignore fiscal responsibility altogether. Instead of working with us in a bipartisan way to reduce mandated spending increases and to hold the line on out-of-control spending, they are actually trying to dramatically increase mandated increases in spending by billions of dollars more.
Now, Hogan says 85 bills have been introduced since the start of the 2016 legislative session. He says an analysis shows that if passed, new spending would increase the structural deficit by 350% to $2.8 billion.
Several people are out of their apartments today after an early morning fire in Lanham. You can see the flames shooting out of a window in this video here taken on a neighbor's iPad. The blaze started in a ground floor apartment at Glendale Apartments on Good Luck Road, according to a spokesman with the fire department. The fire and smoke in the stairwell made it difficult for residents to get out. Several described the fear that they felt. How scary was it?
Very.
I hear from what they told us the fire was coming up, so people tried to get out and the stairwells were blocked.
Yeah, it was a lot of smoke. Some people had to come down the ladder, and a lot of people's things are destroyed due to the smoke ventilation and things like that.
When I got to my front door, I smelled smoke, so that's when I knew it must have been a fire. When I came out, that's when I saw the fire coming from the window of the ground apartment.
And you said the building alarms didn't go off?
Never, not at all. My neighbor said that fortunately her fire alarm inside of her unit went off. But again, it wasn't until I got out of my apartment that I knew that it was, like I said, I smelled the smoke before I came out. I didn't know the extent of it and how bad it was until I actually got out the building.
The spokesman for the fire department did not return our calls for comment on whether the building alarm was working. Luckily, firefighters were able to get everyone out safely. The blaze is being ruled accidental at this point, possibly started by a piece of clothing that came in contact with a hot light. Damage to the building is estimated at $75,000. Police have identified the victims of a double homicide in Cheverly last night. 26-year-old Tarika Jones and 22-year-old Jalissa Walls-Harris were found shot in an apartment in the 6500 block of Landover Road. They were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators are still looking for a suspect. They do not believe, though, that this crime was random. Anyone with information is asked to call police. You are watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Maryland